Hey everyone, and welcome to Trend Guards. You know the drill. We prioritize accuracy, verified data, and crystal clear analysis over the hype. Today, we've got an authoritative explainer for you on a massive shift happening right now in the technology ecosystem. We're going to strip away all the startup noise and look at the verified, data-backed rise of Chinese open source models. The landscape? It's fundamentally changed, and we have the exact data to prove it.
Let's kick things off with the hardest, most important confirmed statistic in AI today: 80%. If you observe startups pitching right now using an open source AI stack, there's literally an 80% chance they're running Chinese open models. Not OpenAI, not Anthropic. 80%.
To establish our baseline of credibility right out of the gate, here is the exact quote as reported by MIT Technology Review. Among startups pitching with open source stacks, there's about an 80% chance they're running Chinese open models instead of OpenAI or Anthropic. So this isn't some rumor, and it's not just a casual user observation. This is a documented, confirmed shift in foundational infrastructure. It's completely turning what was once perceived as an American monopoly on frontier AI on its head.
What's truly staggering here is just the sheer velocity of this transition. Look at this timeline based on data from LinkedIn, Medium, and MIT Tech Review. Back in late 2024, adoption of these Chinese open source models was sitting at near zero. But then, January 2025 hits. DeepSeek releases its R1 reasoning model, claiming performance comparable to top US models, but at a fraction of the cost. And that was the catalyst. By mid-2026, these models accounted for roughly 30% of all startup usage globally, completely dominating 80% of open source stacks. And as for the quality gap, well, according to benchmark data from LumaChats, the best Chinese models are now tracking within just 3 to 9 percentage points of American frontier models.
Let's systematically break down the foundational architecture that is actually driving this market, the Big Four. First up, Moonshot AI's Kimi K3. At 2.8 trillion parameters, it's the largest open-weight system in the industry, utilizing a compressed mixture of experts' design. And as reported by Tom's Hardware, it actually beat Claude Fable 5 in the Frontend Code Arena. Next is Alibaba's Qwen 3.8 Max. This is a 2.4 trillion parameter workhorse featuring a massive 1 million token context window. According to their official documentation, it is heavily optimized for long-horizon agentic tasks. Third, we've got DeepSeek V4 Pro. It's a 1.6 trillion parameter model that is aggressively waging a price war right now, offering sub-dollar pricing per million tokens on platforms like OpenRouter. And finally, Zhipu's GLM 5.3. Let's actually take a closer look at that one right now.
So the really crucial point here is understanding the dual-use reality of GLM 5.3. Based on Zhipu's official documentation, this model jumped from a score of 4.6 all the way to 28.3 on Terminal Bench 3.0. That is a generational leap in its ability to change shell commands and debug live environments. But even more importantly, VentureBeat has verified that GLM 5.3 has emergent vulnerability discovery capabilities. In fact, it was confirmed to have found a serious vulnerability in the Cursor platform out in the wild. We're not fear-mongering here, just stating the verified facts. This confirms its status as both a powerful defensive tool and a potential offensive weapon. Just look at this stark contrast in API costs. According to 10.010.eu, proprietary APIs from providers like OpenAI or Anthropic will run you anywhere from $5 to $75 per million tokens. Meanwhile, the DeepSeek V4 Pro API costs under $1 per million tokens on OpenRouter. Specifically, we're talking about 43 cents for input and 87 cents for output. It's a brutal price war that is essentially forcing the entire global open-weight economy to reprice. I mean, think about it. When you're a cash-burning startup, the difference between $75 and 87 cents isn't just a nice little discount, it's literally a completely different business model. And even with some volatile API pricing updates out there, DeepSeek still provides a 90% cash hit discount.
You might be wondering, how are these labs closing the capability gaps so fast without just outspending the US on raw pre-training compute? Well, based on reporting from Z.AI and Medium, it basically comes down to 3 engines of rapid improvement. First, post-training. Those massive gains we just saw in models like GLM 5.3, they came entirely from reinforcement learning and agent pipelines, not from pre-training a whole new base model. Second is architecture. Efficiency is essentially the new scaling law now. For instance, Kimi K3 uses constant memory attention and compressed routing, which makes a massive 2.8 trillion parameter model incredibly cheap to serve. And third, the open source flywheel. Models like Qwen and DeepSeek have hundreds of thousands of community variants out there. That means free, compounding research and development provided by the global community.
Practically speaking, how are startups actually running these massive models in production today? Well, the infrastructure has matured to the point where even a tiny two-person team can reliably deploy a trillion-parameter model. We're seeing three clear playbooks here. Step one is self-hosting. Enterprises are using tools like vLLM or SGLang with 4-bit quantization to fit massive weights onto just a fraction of the hardware. Step two is the API route. Startups without their own GPUs just use pay-as-you-go services like OpenRouter or Fireworks. But step three is the hybrid approach, and honestly, this is the most dominant pattern we see confirmed today. Companies route their routine, repetitive tasks to the cheap Chinese models, and then they strictly reserve the more expensive US frontier models for only the top 10% of hardest tasks.
And what exactly are they building with this infrastructure? We have 4 verified startup use cases. First, vertical coding copilots. Startups are leaning heavily on Kimi 3 and GLM 5.3 to ingest entire legacy code bases. Second, research and document analysis, tapping into Qwen 3.8 Max's 1 million token contacts window for intensive tasks like legal discovery. Third, always-on customer support. DeepSeek V4 Pro's sub-dollar pricing makes scaling this up economically viable. And fourth, as reported by Digital in Asia, there is a huge surge of vertical SaaS in price-sensitive emerging markets, like Southeast Asia. In those regions, this extreme cost advantage is literally the single decisive factor for business survival.
Now, obviously, the economics make this a highly rational choice for startups, but we need to neutrally report on the confirmed market risks here because there are real trade-offs. We're looking at 3 main areas: geopolitics, security, and dependence. First, geopolitics. Export controls and potential US usage restrictions remain a live, active risk for businesses building on these platforms. Second, security. Like we noted earlier with GLM 5.3, open-weight offensive tooling is now in the wild. Relying on a shared open-weight ecosystem means that one single vulnerability in a base model can instantly propagate to thousands of downstream variants. And finally, dependence. If a startup's entire core product is just a fine-tuned version of a Chinese-based model, they are completely reliant on that single foreign lab's release cadence and their licensing terms.
So, to wrap this all up, here is the crucial takeaway. The global open-weight ecosystem has demonstrably shifted. It's been led by rapid iterations in post-training, immense cost advantages, and massive community distribution. It's simply no longer a two-horse race. But, as we've seen, with that incredible efficiency comes undeniable strategic exposure. Which leaves us with the most important analytical question for you to evaluate for your own infrastructure. How are you hedging your AI stack against strategic risk and pricing wars? Thank you so much for joining us for this Trend Guards Explainer, where we value accuracy and clarity above all else. Review your deployment strategies, stay informed with the data, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It really helps the channel grow. See you in the next video.